Is your team culture crashing or is it stagnant? I'm going to share a few tips on how to fix that. First, let me talk a little bit about what culture is and what culture is not. Culture is everything about the environment in which we work. It's, do we have access to the tools that we need? Do we have relationships and connections with the people that we need to collaborate with? Do we trust each other? Do we have that feeling of motivation and accountability? And you have to be intentional about all of that stuff. A lot of times people don't really think about culture until something big has blown up, a huge conflict or a project that totally missed the deadline or went way over budget. And that's the indicator that there is a lot of trouble below the surface. But often bad culture, a sign of bad culture is that it's stagnant. If you think of a puddle of water or a pond of water where there's nothing new coming in or out, there's no motion, and just slowly the murk starts festering and the algae and nothing's really happening. It's not a very enticing place to be. The same thing happens with culture. So to look for, how do you understand what the culture is, what's there? You want to look at what's in the way of you doing your job on a day-to-day basis? What are little things that are holding you back or little things that are causing frustration that doesn't really need to be there? And being proactive, being intentional about culture is looking for those things, not waiting for something to blow up, not just letting them sit until it becomes really noticeable, but looking at what can we do to improve. It's getting that flow of water in the stagnant puddle so that it's fresh and things are moving along and you're not getting all the detritus that's just sinking there. So what are some things that you can do proactively to see what's going on and maybe spot what some of the challenges or some opportunities to do better? Well, one thing is just to ask people, to just say, what is something that I could do or that we as a team could do that would make your work easier on a day-to-day basis? It could be something as simple as, I need an upgrade to this software tool I'm using, or this other tool we're using is too complicated and it doesn't make sense and it slows me down. Or every time I have to correspond with somebody on another team or another department, it takes them a really long time to respond back. And could we build a better relationship so we have more of a mutual understanding? Those are relatively simple things that can blow up if you don't address them. But if you address them just as they're becoming little hints that something's wrong, it's no big deal. It's so easy to resolve. So having those conversations regularly, hey, is there something I could be doing that would be more helpful to you? Or is there something we as a team could be doing or that the company could pay more attention to that makes something a little bit easier? That is one really huge and really simple thing. Another thing you could do is to do a quick pulse check assessment to see how are people feeling about our culture at this point in time. Not just getting their individual perspectives, but looking collectively. Do people experience culture the same way? Do they see the same things as strengths and the same things as weaknesses? Or is it all over the place? Because if it's all over the place, that means you don't really have a defined culture and it's a little bit chaotic. People don't really know what the values are and how those values are operationalized and how that translates to expectations for how they perform and how they treat each other. So we've developed a really simple but really effective tool called the pressure matrix that takes about 5 minutes to complete. And it just asks people across the team, how are you experiencing your culture across 9 different dimensions? Things like sense of identity and belonging, decision-making and execution, clarity and complexity of roles and responsibilities. Really simple day-to-day things that you don't necessarily think about but are absolutely part of culture. So doing this really quick assessment can give you a ton of great feedback about what you can do differently, what strengths you can emphasize to build up confidence, what are some little friction points that haven't yet blown up into a crisis, but that if left stagnant, if left unaddressed, could really fester into something else. Another thing you can do is get the team together and play a game or do a simple activity. When people get together and have a shared experience and they do something that is structured, they're going to show up as themselves. They're going to bring their personalities. They're going to bring their humor. They're going to bring their strengths in. And it's a really good way to see how people relate to each other and where there's maybe some misunderstandings or where some people maybe don't have the level of trust or shared accountability that you would like them to. And that's something to work on. So just observing how people interact together, even in a very low stakes and fun way, is going to give you some really valuable insights on how you can be more intentional and create that better culture so people feel more empowered and more excited about their work and more motivated. If you found this video helpful, please make sure to follow me and Barometer XP because we share tons of resources on how to look at your culture, how to use play to improve culture and start specific conversations. So make sure to check us out on YouTube and LinkedIn.